following presentation is for educational purposes only. All of the symbols, trading ideas, and live trading are for demonstrational purposes and are not recommendations or trading advice. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All of the information and opinions expressed by third-party guests are their own and are not necessarily those of NinjaTrader LLC. Trading futures involve substantial risk and may not be suitable for everyone, and trading futures can result in losses greater than the initial required margin. Traders should only trade futures with risk capital. Risk capital is money that you can afford to lose without jeopardizing your financial security or current lifestyle. You can find additional disclosure information on the NinjaTrader website.
Let's talk futures. Joining me live from the other side of the pond, Gavin Holmes, trade guider. Gavin, how are you?
I'm very well, and getting ready for our election. Rishi Sunak,
Okay.
Nigel Farage, Donald Trump. He might get in. I don't even know. I mean, it's possible. But we've got an election on Thursday. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Can you see my screen, by the way? Just check. I'm on the NASDAQ 5-minute chart, and you should be able to see it.
Yep. But Gavin, before we even go there, I got to ask you, because I don't know this, right? I don't know, how do they do elections? It's July 4th, which is, probably a holiday you don't want to celebrate, but how do they, is it a regularly scheduled election, or is this something that happens because the parties decide to have it?
This is a snap election like they've had in France this last few days, right? Which you probably have heard about.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
President Macron called a snap election, and now Marine Le Pen possibly is going to get in because he called it at probably the wrong time. But Rishi Sunak did the same thing. We didn't expect an election till probably October, November. Give him time to build what's going on. But this is great for the markets. It really is great, because what it does, it creates, and it has done in the British pound and the euro, and indeed in some of the other markets. We've got, President Biden and ex-President Trump going head to head. And, all of this conjecture and rumor and all of this stuff works well for the markets, because it makes it move. Now, I'm sorry you can't see me in person because my camera isn't working, and Jason, who's been great, is trying to fix it. But we will have that. But you can see the chart, and I'm going to show you some screenshots today of NinjaTrader 8 with Smart Center Pro that I'm using. But Jim, what I'd say is this: the world is in a geopolitical mess. There's no argument with that. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that fact. But the markets are moving. And I did a presentation at my children's school on Friday to 17 and 18-year-old students. Now, of course, Jim, I've met your kids, and great. What a pleasure it was to have them here in the forest. But what I do know is these youngsters are our future. They are what drives us. And so when I was talking to them about price charts, and I showed them NinjaTrader, funny enough, and some of them are going to download the software and use it, I said, well, you've got to understand what a price chart actually means. Now, having worked with Tom and yourself over many, many years now, we understand something called volume. And when I mentioned this at the school, this is the most interesting part. I stood up and I said, well, what we chart is supply and demand. And the teacher at the back, the economics teacher, he beamed. He put his hands up with 2 thumbs up like that. I didn't know what he meant. We went for lunch. He sat down next to me. He made a point of it. And he said, Gavin, what you just said about supply and demand is what we teach in our economics program. And he showed me the curriculum. Supply and demand, cause and effect, effort versus result. Everything we teach in NinjaTrader. It was the most moving experience for me in my life, because I realized I'm teaching something that's important. And
so it's a general economic principle that they're teaching in school that you're an expert at, or you apply to trading.
Yeah, pretty much so. I keep it simple to something. Well, you know, Jim, you've worked with me for years, so has Tom. The bottom line is the markets move on universal law. And I did a seminar last week about chapter 9 of my book. And I talk in chapter 9 about the law of attraction, about how our belief systems make us what we are, which is exactly what I said to the students. I said, look, you're going into the big wide world and you're going out, and you have to have a belief system that enables you to be successful. Same in trading. Nothing changes. It's exactly correct. And then when you have it, you have to apply it, though. You can't just believe it. You can't just wake up in the morning and go, oh, I believe I'm going to be a winning trader today. You've got to apply the rules. And, you know, Tom's a pilot, right? So if you listen to Tom Schreider, he said, well, when I get in my plane, I don't just jump in, turn on the engine and go down the runway. No, he has a plan. And we must all have that in life in general, actually. And we have this plan, and the plan will enable us to move forward, as I'm going to show you on this chart. And there's several charts I'm going to show you very briefly, because we've got limited time. But what I will say...
This is the classic NASDAQ, right? Classic. This is the regular, this is the E-mini NASDAQ chart futures we're seeing.
5 minute. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want you to all pay attention to this. Okay. And I've made my mouse much bigger because you can't see my face, which is good, but you can see my mouse. Look at the volume.
Yeah.
All right. That is the elephant in the room. And I've done a presentation to a couple of banks last week because we're going to move forward with our company. And these banks said, well, what are you talking about? The market's, you know, this is the NASDAQ. It's going up. I said, no, it's going to go down. Yeah, because the volume is massive. But the next bar, we got 2 red indicators and it's collapsed. Am I wrong? No. That is supply. And again, I'll repeat this. I've written 2 books. 3rd book's about to be published in a couple of weeks' time by Amazon. But the 2 books, the first one, Trading in the Shadow of the Smart Money, discusses exactly what's happening here. And this is NinjaTrader 8, right? Now, I love NinjaTrader, and that's what we're using.
So Gavin, so that volume spike happened. What time did that happen in the session? Your access, I think, is set for UK time, right?
Yeah. So that would have been at the end of the session. So 3 p.m. Chicago, 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. So what happens is, and this is how the markets have to work. At the end of a session or on a Monday, right, especially on a Monday and a Friday, the professional money move in. Bang! They hit the market. Now, when they hit the market, it goes up. Everyone's buying. The retail traders, the uninformed, they go, oh, look, the volume's increased. It's going up. Everything's along. Completely not. I'll show you. I'll prove it in the yen. Now, why do I use NinjaTrader 8? Great question. The reason I've used NinjaTrader, and I've used it now for some years, is not only because of my relationship with Jim Cagnina, who's a good friend, but because the platform works, right? We want to keep it simple. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't overcomplicate. Weakness, when it appears and when the market starts to turn, will happen on high volume up spikes. This is a fact. And you can, you know, we've got here an upthrust. I did a YouTube video on it. Go to tradeguider.com, youtube.com/tradeguider.
So Gavin, the upthrust, what are the characteristics of an upthrust candle other than big volume spike?
Well, there's 2 things here that you've got to observe. And Jim, that's a good question. Number one, we've got to look at not one bar, but two bars. Right? VSA does not look at one price bar. Everyone thinks it does because it says it's red, it's green. That's not how the software works, and it never was. Here, the market is marked up into an old top on very high volume. We can see this. It's like an elephant in the room. But if that was all buying, the next bar wouldn't close lower than the close of the previous bar. It's impossible. Supply has to have overcome demand. And if I'm wrong, if this wouldn't have happened, the fall in price. But does the market collapse? No, it's like a snake. I've said this many times in my recent webinars. It goes up and down, up and down. It's a snake. If you've ever listened to Steve Irwin, who was a great Australian presenter who would let snakes out of a bag and say, watch, the snake didn't just go, oh, tell you what, I'm going up there. It went down, then it goes up. That's exactly how it works, Jim. And you know this, and I know this, but you try to convey that to the public. Like, for instance, right now, as we're watching, okay, we can see what the market's doing. It's a snake. You can't trade in there. You would be silly to trade there because
sorry, Gavin. So I see that big high volume spike, and I look to the right, and I don't see anything even close to that up until current time.
Yeah, but the point. This is a great point, and you've just made it. Look at the background. Look at where we're at. We're into this area. Now that's watch. If it breaks through that, that's a great long. But if it doesn't and it refuses to do it, which it did there, the background is important. Why? Why is the background important? Jim Cagnina goes to the bank manager and he says, I want a loan for 500 grand to buy a new property in South Carolina. Okay, that's fine, Jim. What I'll do is I'm going to check your background. I'm not interested in what you do with the money. I'm going to check your background. Why? Well, because I want to see if you've got a good credit history, you've got a good credit rating, which of course you've got, and you've got all those things, and you've got loads of money in the bank. You go, oh, I tell you what, this guy's a good credit-worthy person. I'll lend you everything.
I have everything except loads of money in the bank. But other than that, let's go.
Hey, buy VSA, and I'll make sure you.
Oh, careful.
But yeah, careful. But look, right? The background is important. Okay.
Yeah.
So this has happened in the background, and it collapsed the price. Now we're into the same area. Is this a place for me to get ready to go short? Sure. Everything's red, but it's not ready yet because the system is telling me, and we will show Smart Center Pro now, and we can see all of these things alerting. But we look at the Australian dollar, and it's all green. It's marvelous. It's like you go, okay, that's telling me that the trend of the Aussie dollar is up, the 6A. You put on the 6A contract and you just do some simple analysis. You go, what's the background? Okay, you're sort of testing the market. So you put the 6A up, you can see it's definitely going up because we've got buying. Okay, and you go, well, that's a 4-hour chart. Yeah. And it's definitely there. There's a test. And it's in a rising market. So it's been going up. It's making lower or higher lows. We've got the massive markdown. It's going up. But you go, oh, come on, I can't wait 4 hours for a trade. Okay, go to the 5-minute chart.
So, Gavin, that Smart Center Pro, when you first put it up, that gives you a glimpse. It's a scanner, right? So it gives you a glimpse of, all right, where are my prospects at? What's moving right now and what's consistent, right?
Correct. And you can see this is something I want to touch on before we finish. I know we're limited on. This is called a Wyckoff spring. And I talked about this at the Bryanston School on Friday. And it's a very classic setup to go long. Okay. Now, again, please observe the volume, all of you. No one can argue with me that that's not the highest volume, or at least the second highest volume on the chart, right? No one's going to argue with that. It's on a down bar. It means the price has closed lower than the close of the previous bar, but it closed on the top with the next bar up. And then we have the indicator, the test, a high volume test. It's discussed in the book by Richard Wyckoff and Tom Williams. And my book, which you can get a copy of, it's, just email me, say book, tradeguider@outlook.com, happily send you it, no charge. It's in different languages. You can have it in Arabic, Spanish, anything. I mean, there's many languages. The point is that's a spring. Now, I know Tom will appreciate this as well, that when a market is marked down, but closes up on the top with the next bar up, it will produce a higher price on a 5-minute chart. So someone says to me, okay, Gavin, does this work on a 1-minute time frame, a 5-minute time frame? Well, we can put a 1-minute time frame up, and I'm using NinjaTrader 8. And again, I'll be very clear. Okay. And we can see the same thing that's going on. Right. Look at the volume on this bar. Okay. It's very, very clear. It's potential professional buying. It's buying. And that's why it went up. And now, has it hit a top? Sure. Because the market's a snake. It's not going to... Now, will it continue? I think it will. Because look at the volume on this bar. This is volume spread analysis, ladies and gentlemen. It's a VSA. In NinjaTrader 8, I'm using Smart Center Pro. And when I put the system up, it tells me what exactly is going on.
And the previous two bars. So the previous two bars there, I'm just looking at this saying the previous two bars closed on their lows, it looks like, more or less.
What, these two? You're talking about these two here?
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely. Because is this right? Yeah, it's the snake. It doesn't just go one direction. It's hit resistance and it's coming back down. Is there a buying opportunity down here? Potentially. But if you're scalping the market, you could have taken the opportunity there. But actually, to be fair, I wait for this to line up. And if we look at Smart Center Pro, now you were looking at, I think it was crude oil, weren't you looking at earlier? Jim?
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, could you put a crude oil chart up? Let's take a peek at what you're telling. We're still short right now, crude.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll put up Smart Center Pro. Now we've got here the Smart Center Pro scanner. Now, I can see the 1, 5, 15, and 30 is turning to the downside, and I can see that we've got on the 60-minute chart end of a rising market. Now, that's a very, if you read my book, very important indicator. I don't use the word signal. That doesn't work for me. Indicator. Now, if you look at Tom's and Jim's analysis of that chart, it's dead on. Timing wise, they could have waited a bit, but let's go and analyze it, which is absolutely ideal for this session. So we'll put up the crude oil. I'm going to put up the main count. I'm not going to do the mini. I'm going to put this up, and we're going to put up here a 15-minute chart. And it will take time for it to load, by the way, just so you know. Okay, so Jim, can you see the 15-minute chart?
Yes, sir.
All right. So listening to Tom's analysis, Jim's analysis, I'm total agreement. Total agreement. Based on what's going on up here, and the buying climax, which is why it's falling. Weakness, when it appears, happens on up moves. Tom Schneider totally understands it. Jim Cagnina totally understands this. So when they're looking at shorts and the market went up, and they're going, oh, well, maybe we're under pressure. Yeah, you were. But the buying climax came in. And I can see the volume increasing on these. You can see it down here, by the way, right? I can move that down a bit.
So is the buying climax that red? Does that pop up with that red bar when you close on the low?
Yeah, absolutely, it does.
Okay.
Because if you look at what you were saying 25 minutes, 30 minutes ago, you're right. We can see you're right, but VSA says you're right. But it sounds odd, doesn't it? Because as you were doing it, I watched you. It was going up, and you're going, "Oh, I think we might be wrong." Oh, maybe that. No, you're dead on. Look at the volume. You nailed it, both of you. You're completely right. That buying climax is as strong as the end of a rising market signal. It's a very serious indicator. What does it mean? It's a climactic bar. What does climactic bars mean? It means that the market is overextended because the professional money are selling into the up move. And that's how they make their profit. Wouldn't you? As Tom Williams used to say to me. When I was listening to the commentary before I came on air, I thought it was spot on. Because you can see it's correct. I can see it's correct. The VSA software says it's correct.
Sign of strength has arrived.
Yeah, no, I got some other indicators going off here, but I'm not going to spend time on that. But so what you've got here is what Jim and Tom told you was, look, we think this is going to have a collapse. They're absolutely right. But the VSA tells me that they were. I would not hesitate to come on air and tell you, actually, I think the guy's got it wrong. I wouldn't, and Cags knows me very well. I don't mince my words. If I think something's wrong.
We're wrong for sure a lot of times. So it's we have thick skin, but go ahead.
No, actually, I'll tell you what. This is something that people have got to appreciate. When you come on air on a live event and you're doing what you're doing, certainly Tom and yourself, I do the same thing. You're putting your balls on the line, excuse my French, but I will say that you are, because you're giving commentary on a market which can go either way. And you can be right, you can be wrong. It's a bit like Donald Trump or Richie Sunak. It's like politicians. There's no such thing as right and wrong. That's a fact. What there is judgment. And people will judge you on, okay, you got that wrong. Ronaldo missed a penalty. What? Portugal, Ronaldo missed a penalty in injury time. That can't be right. But it happened. And he cried. Yeah, he cried. And I would say this to every single individual as you listen to these presentations. We are not always going to be right. If we were, everyone would listen, they'd all make money. But it's not always that about that. But what I can say for certainty at the top here is we have two indicators which confirm Tom Schneider and Jim Cagnina correct the trap. They called it, I listened to it, and they stuck to it. The VSA system, and I just did an event with Tirunagapan earlier, confirms it.
Yeah.
Remember the rules that govern how you make money in life. Read chapter 9 of my book, which is what my next book's about. Please read it. You can get it by just emailing me at tradeguide@outlook.com. It's about belief. Why did Tom and Jim say, well, actually, we think this is going to fall in crude oil? Were they wrong an hour ago, hour and a half ago? Has the price fallen? You have to listen to experts, and they're both experts. And if you do this, you will understand that, yes, The markets are against you. Yes, they are. I won't deny that. But you can be successful if, and this is the big if, you have a plan, you know what the plan is, and you understand your strategy and your system. That's what we do at TradeGuider. That's what NinjaTrader do, which is why we partner with them. And that's why we work with Tom and Jim and the team and Jason. All of the guys there are brilliant.
Well, Gavin, it's very, very, very kind of you for sure. Let me just ask you one question though, because sometimes it's hard to see your mouse. Those pop-up boxes that come up, that's native to the NinjaTrader software, right? And you click on or the plugin, and you're getting those when you click on the carrots, right?
Yeah. So what you should be seeing here, I mean, we can do many of them, but just tell me if you can see this, because again, it does. Yeah, you're absolutely right. What happens is you left click on a dialog box.
Okay.
And yeah, I can see exactly what you're saying. Sometimes it doesn't come up. Right. Yeah, I can see that. And that can come from various reasons. But ultimately, what happens is when you get to a dialog box, it will explain to you why the why the red indicator is there. Right. So can you see that, Jim? You should see no demand.
Yep. Yeah.
So that knocked the market sideways, right? And that's very common, very, very common. We've got two at the top, but ultimately, and then we'll just put that, and this happens because of internet connection, but that's no demand. What happened is that the market went up and the volume diminished, and it knocked the market sideways for quite a long time. In fact, 5 or 6 hours. This is common. Now, these indicators at the top, which we can clearly see, are showing us the trap. Now, the trap up move, which you should be able to see that, Jim, right? Yeah. This is all built into the Smart Center Pro, Smart Center software built into NinjaTrader. And it's built into the scanners. And what it's doing, it's emailing me when something like this happens, because it's built into the software. What NinjaTrader is very, very good at is, and I think it's why it's one of the greatest platforms, is it gives you lots of functionality that you can program in. So if I want to send an email to myself, I can do it and say, that's appeared on a 15-minute chart. Show me this, please, on a 5-minute chart. Okay, fine. So you go to the 5-minute chart. You say, show me what's going on. And that's one of the sayings, and there it is at the top. And that's one of the sayings that Jim Cagnina and Jim Mooney, when we were together, when I walked into the office, they'd look at me and go, what's going on? What's going on? And I go, I have no clue. Because I started my day with nothing going on. But at the end of the day, if they came up to me and said, what's going on? I said, well, we did really well today. We did really well. That's why this is falling. That's why crude is falling. That's why they got it right. Because at the top, look at the massive volume, narrow spread bar.
Yeah.
So you guys, well done. You absolutely nailed it. Yeah,
well,
you've done it.
I appreciate that, Gavin. We are up against time. I appreciate you working a little bit later today. You're over there, I don't know what, 5 or 6 hours later in the day, but I appreciate you spending time with us today. So thank you for being here. And the best place to reach out to you is either tradeguider.com or an email. Is that true?
Yeah. So if you want a copy of the book, my second book, and the first book, in fact, you just email tradeguider@outlook.com. It's really, just put book in the title. I'll send you a copy of the book. You'll see why these indicators work, and you'll understand it. And the buying climax is a good one. And I'm really pleased that you said short the crude oil, and the software said the same thing. So I'm absolutely delighted. What a great event.
Well,
thank you.
Well, thanks again, Gavin. Have a great election day holiday over there in the UK, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Take care. Thanks a lot. And cheers to
All of the symbols, trading ideas, and live trading are for demonstrational purposes and are not recommendations or trading advice. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All of the information and opinions expressed by third-party guests are their own and are not necessarily those of NinjaTrader LLC. Trading futures involve substantial risk and may not be suitable for everyone, and trading futures can result in losses greater than the initial required margin. Traders should only trade futures with risk capital. Risk capital is money that you can afford to lose without jeopardizing your financial security or current lifestyle. You can find additional disclosure information on the NinjaTrader website.